In this video, we find out how I go from this to this. That's right, in this video we're going to be looking at TOEFLIP torture. Here we go, roll that intro. Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Amputee Adele's YouTube channel, starring me, Amputee Adele, and my co-host, beautiful Winnie, who's having a snooze, and she's going to assist me in this video today. I released the video, I think it was last year sometime, and it's quite embarrassing to look at now, and in that video I tried to learn to do the toe flip, kick flip, pressure flip, whatever you want to call it. I originally watched Joe Walker's video, and then I think it was like Mowgli's video, and also I can't think of his name now, Freestyle Trick Tips channel as well. So I thought that I was in with a good chance of trying to land this trick because everyone was saying it's actually pretty easy, and I actually would go as far as saying it is, but I had to learn to ride switch, and that was the problem. So if we go back to my first clips, which are the ones that I filmed for that video, I think that video was the first time I ever even tried to attempt the trick, and I just kept flicking back instead, and the problem was I couldn't actually roll forward, couldn't actually stand in like switch stance. So in that video, I think every time I tried to even like roll, it just goes disastrously wrong, and I think I gave up and I tried it in a nollie stance in the end, which does work and can be done, but I think it works better in switch. So in this video we're going to examine how I got and I took that torturous, horrible flip and actually managed to turn it into that beautiful toe flip that I managed to land and catch, and I'm searching for elusively ever since. But yes, it took that elusive toe flip, kick flip to give me the chance and the belief that I could actually land flip tricks. But yeah, the toe flip, kick flip gave me the confidence to jump off the board, let it spin, and actually catch it as well. So the first flip trick I actually did goes back to my first year of skating, which was 2 years ago now, where I actually landed, I think it was a inward heel pressure flip. Although technically I'm going to say it's a one-footed landing because I only landed with my foot on the board, but in those days we considered that good enough, so fair enough. The first mission I had on my hands was actually learning to ride switch. Once I actually sort of did that, which I found that I was doing like most days, and that for the last few months I've just been going out every day and riding switch, and if I land switch out of a trick, which I'm getting like more confident doing, I'll ride away in switch for a little bit and then try maybe like a 180, no comply, to go back to regular. It's taken a long time to get to the point where I could actually land that toe flip, and part of the problem was really for me that I was standing on the board, I was facing the wrong way, I had my pressure in the wrong place, and also that I wasn't, it is literally what it says on the tin, it is a toe flip. If you've got anything other than your toes on the board, it's unlikely to work. And to be honest, I just aim to have my like big toe, my big toe. That is where all the push and the whatever is coming from. So that's like pushing on the board. So supposing that this is the board and you're riding, you're pushing into it with just the big toe, and then as you flick away, you're flicking off that. So like I can't do it because I'm everything down, but yeah, so all of that is coming from that big toe. So I found I was getting like a lot of pain in my big toe and getting that turf toe, whatever they call it. So it was difficult, but standing with your opposite foot, or in my case a crutch actually, and leaning out, because this is a pressure flip, so you need to really generate that pressure. It's so different to pop tricks, and now that I have actually started to learn and getting through tricks that I'm actually popping, like I'm teaching myself to kickflip and stuff like that. In the first year it was actually easier to pressure flip because I couldn't pop the board anyway, so or not well enough to actually do like any tricks. But whereas now I've done more popped tricks, it's actually harder to do a pressure flip now because in my head I'm completely forgetting to take the pressure and how to actually do that. So yeah, The thing I was forgetting to do most of the time, which was like a lot of the reason I wasn't actually getting the flip, or whatever or even getting anywhere close to landing the trick, and that was my crutch, or you know, in my case, my front foot, or your case, front foot, my front crutch, lifting it clear off the board, isn't it, Winnie? I had to remember to lift it clear off the board, so that the board's actually got room to do that that rotation, because it's going to go on itself like that, and then it really is quite simple when you've got it, and when it flips around and you've got it. When you've got the technique right, you will know that you've got it right, because it will feel, well, it'll feel right, and you will get that, you know, the varial rotation with it. Because sometimes I find it'll do half a varial, so it's not getting the full 180 of the varial, and then that makes like a really rubbishy landing. But yeah, in the video clip that you see to start with, and that I'll roll again now, you know, I actually was standing rolling. Managed to lift my foot up, obviously managed to get my crutch in the right place, my toe in the right place, and I did manage to get the varial flip in that as well, which was really nice feeling. So I would like to get to a point where I can do this trick like on lock, or nearly always on lock. That's something we are working on, on the table, and I'm really having to like unthink pop, and like when I'm doing pop tricks that's okay, but it's like splitting it off in my head that pressure tricks and pop tricks are so different. I think when you're doing like pressure tricks, there's usually more scoop involved. I've recently been learning the pressure shove it half possible, which is a very scooped. It's not, well, it is a pressure trick, yeah. But the way that it flicks round and stuff, it's like really neat. That's also another really good trick to learn if you're, you know, looking to learn, you know, early flip tricks and you haven't got your kickflip yet, but maybe you've got the confidence, you're riding, you're landing ollies and stuff like that. You're just generally comfortable on the board, I'd say, and then you know you could look towards learning these tricks. I'd certainly, if you haven't already, if you want to try, I think that I'd learn switch, because if you haven't already, it makes sense, because you're gonna, any trick you're doing regular that's a 180, you're gonna end up in switch. So you really do need to learn to feel comfortable in that stance. So that brings me neatly onto the next part, which made me think that the reason I was sucking at it before was because I wasn't actually lifting the crutch up to that, but actually catching catching it as well. And the way I found the easiest trick to learn to like flip and catch and land with both of your feet, or your foot and your crutch if you're me, I personally found, I think it's called the underflip. It's the one where you stand on the by the board, you know, one foot under the board, and then you basically jump up, flick the board, and as it spins, it does like a kick flip or heel flip rotation. Anyway, it does a full rotation, and you plant both feet. That one's quite a good one, because you've got to watch it spin and then actually jump down and catch it, and it just gets you used to the idea of the board spinning underneath you and how that feels, you know, and just getting that confidence in that. And I'd say that's the biggest thing with any of the flip tricks, anything where you've got to pop and stuff like that as well. It's just having that confidence, just even if you've never tried it, it's just to try, it's just to do and release from your standard. That's what I found the hardest. Like if I was trying, like I recently tried, I think I'm really bad at doing is forget to lift. I said lift that back foot up. My kickflips is the same. You can trap the board if you do not lift your feet up, and they need the board. That's a really good tip. The board needs room to spin, so as long as you lift, just suck your feet up out of the way so the board can spin under you. Like literally just keeping yourself like over the board, keeping yourself aligned so you can see and catch it. And I think with any kind of trick that you're learning, and usually again, like, you know, sort of flip tricks, is keeping your weight distributed above the board while it's flipping. Just like landed on it. I didn't realise you caught the trick. So yeah, you know, I've learned a lot, so much in the 2-3 years as an adaptive skateboarder. It's been insane. 2 years as a crutch skateboarder and 1 as a kneel down skateboarder. Absolutely blow my mind. And I'm sick. In the end, I was able to land the toe flip, kick flip, purely out of perseverance, but mostly also through just going back and rewatching the videos. So if you're struggling to learn any kind of trick, this is sort of general advice really for learning any kind of trick, is like if you're struggling with that trick, what I do is I have an idea in my head, like I want to learn this trick, so then I go onto YouTube and I will look up like trick tips, might be Braille or whoever it might be Ben Diggeros or whoever it is, a good tutorial, VL skate, and I will watch that and I'll take some notes. Then I will take that out in my head to the outside world. Sarah Park Mottot as well, she has some brilliant tutorials. I'll do some links to these people down in the description below or whatever you, or link to some of their videos. Watch some tutorials, get some ideas. The more different people you watch, the more you will find like people with the kind of do the trick tips that you like, that you vibe with, and that you can understand. I think some of the people I've mentioned are good, you know, YouTube skate tutorial people to follow, so I will definitely link them. But just, yeah, you know, looking at the trick and actually taking notes and actually watching the trick being performed. So you might, like, say you're learning to kickflip, I sometimes put in like slow motion kickflip footage to YouTube, and then I will just watch that, and then it's just usually clips over and over, slow motion from different angles, and just get really used to watching that happening. Another idea that I have actually come up with to help like with this learning process is actually doing like visualization. If you haven't tried it, I do recommend it. I've got one which I use. It's not the best one, but it's the only one I've really found so far that's like a guided one. Otherwise you'll have to go off and do your own, but there's a guided one I'll link down below, which is a YouTube one, which sort of got me going on this idea. But doing some visualization and being able to actually break down the trick in your brain. Related to that is obviously making sure you're getting enough sleep and nutrition. I know when I go out and I'm not well, I'm not on the ball, and I know that it's much more difficult to get my brain together to actually work out, and I'll be doing just stupid stuff and fall over and hurt myself because my brain just isn't on it. So, you know, sleep well, rest up, you know, stretch, warm up, all those good stuff. That's probably like just standard routine information, but really that is something to carry with you, you know, whenever you go out skating. But it will certainly help. You know, maybe you're trying to learn a new trick and you're trying to bolster your confidence. Maybe it's pads you need and a helmet. You know, I certainly know that now I've got a helmet, you know, because I know I've fallen over quite a few times and like hit my head, like, and I've been wearing my helmet, and I think, oh my god, if I hadn't have been wearing my helmet, what would have happened? So it, you know, for me, having a helmet is just that nice little confidence booster. That if I fall over, hopefully I'm not going to give myself concussion, because I don't need brain injuries and brain trauma on top of all my other physical problems, you know. So yeah, wearing pads might just give you that little bit of confidence you need to overcome, especially if it's a transition trick, you know. It's just that little thing. Alright guys, so the camera did stop recording there. I'm not entirely sure at what point, so I'm just going to think that whatever I was talking about was probably a complete waffle anyway. But the last thing I remember talking about was saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again, and try as many times as it takes, because it might take hundreds of times, months, sometimes years to learn a trick. But when you finally land that trick, the satisfaction is just like, and it makes it all worthwhile, guys. So keep trying no matter what. Try. And if you're really struggling with it, just move on to another trick. You know, it's not worth losing your mind and frustration over. Try something else, try something different, and maybe come back to it at a different time. Me and Winnie Potts, we're going to say thank you for watching Amputee Adele and Winnie. We've had a good session, haven't we, analysing my Toeflip kickflip and how we've got from that kind of awful one we had to start with in that video, which I feel like pulling off because it's embarrassing, to this clip here where we finally land that toe flip, that switch toe flip, kick flip, pressure flip, whatever you want to call it, and the hype was real. Me and Winnie would like to say thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this type of content, you can, if you enjoyed this video specifically, you could hit that like button, and if you have got any tips or tricks you want to share, how you learn a new trick, drop that in the comments below. I'd love to know how you learn new tricks. Can you do a toe flip, kick flip? I'd love to know who else can land that trick. It's not one a lot of people know about, but it is a really good little trick. So I'm going to spread the good word that is the toe flip, kick flip. Winnie's going to stretch her toe beans because this is a girl who knows how to relax, don't you, baby? But yeah, if you like this type of content, you can always subscribe to my channel, and by hitting that notification button, you'll get a notification every time I drop a video, which is usually once a week at the weekends. Usually most weeks I have a video out, and it features me, Amputee Adele, a 36-year-old amputee, relearning to skateboard with 2 crutches, I haven't got right now, and 1 leg. Thank you for watching and making it this far in the video. Me and Winnie would like to say, see you next time. Worry less, skate more. If I've got this, you've got this. And my favourite saying of all, guys, 2 crutches, 1 leg, maximum effort. You've been watching Amputee Adele. Peace out. Yo guys, in this video we're going to find out how I went from this to this. That's right. In this episode we're looking at TOEFLIP torture. Roll that BT, guys. Cool. That's testing. So that's like this. And start the video now. And like my Winnie Pooh sleeps all the time. She doesn't sleep all the time, but she sleeps well, don't you, and